Hello, everybody. Welcome to my live video tonight. I am jumping on just a little bit early here because I know YouTube will send out a notification letting people know that I'm live. And so I just wanted to start a little bit early in hopes that everyone could find me in time. But hello, my name is Melissa. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Minnesota, which is in the United States. Hi, Mom. Thanks for joining. Like I said, I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Minnesota, which is in the United States. And you can find me at www.stampwithmelissa.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube, Pinterest. I'm all over. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to be back live tonight because last weekend, oh my gosh, it was just crazy. And then last week was so crazy with my day job, and everything was just happening. So I'm so excited to be live again tonight. Last Sunday, I premiered a video. So it's been 2 weeks since I've been live here with you. So today I'm really excited to share with you this super cute card. I use the Friends Are Like Seashell bundle here. And then you can see this cool background, which uses our Stampin' blends and some isopropyl alcohol. And then I also added on some of our cool gilded leafing for some accent there. And this is all done on vellum. So it's super fun and such a quick and easy technique. So as you join, make sure you say hello. I'd love to say hi back. So before I get started with this, let me just tell you a couple of things. All right, so we've got a couple of things happening right now. First up is the Connect, Craft, and Collect promotion, which is only running through this Tuesday. Or actually, no, I think it's through the 14th, which is tomorrow. So it ends tomorrow. And this is where you can get some extra. Hello, Alicia. Thank you for joining. This is where you can get some extra Stampin' rewards. And what are Stampin' rewards? Well, it's just free product, which is awesome. Who doesn't love free? So you can find more details on this on my website. Next up, we've got our last chance products. Hi, Cher. Thank you for joining. Our last chance products, these are from the January through June 2021 mini catalog. And all of the items that are listed on this last chance list are only available while supplies last. So you want to make sure you grab anything you want before it disappears. And you can find that list also on my website. The next one is the awesome new kits collection. These are really budget-friendly, travel and kid-friendly kits. I have a couple on their way to me, and I can't wait to do them with my niece and nephew, who are 6 and 3. I think they'll have some fun maybe putting together a card or two. I don't know that I can get them to sit through the whole thing, but maybe a card or two. So those are awesome. And then our next paper pumpkin kit was just announced, and it's called The Adventure Begins. It's very foresty themed and super, super fun and cute. I love that little sneak peek of that card there, which looks like it's like a window see-through kind of a thing. So that's super awesome. You want to subscribe by July 10th. And then this guy, and I'll turn my iPad this way for you. So I participated in a fancy fold tutorial bundle, and there's my card right there. And this is 30 tutorials on different fun folds to do. And all you have to do to get this is place an order with me in the month of June. So I actually just got access to this at the end of last week. I think it was just on Thursday is when the organizer of the bundle sent it over. And so if you've already placed an order with me in June, you can look for this in your inbox probably tonight. I want to get that out to you right after my live video. So you can look for that, and it's just super, super cool ideas. I've seen some of them in here, and I definitely want to try some of them out. All right, one more thing I wanted to share with you is that I am planning to do another class, and I'm going to feature the pansies this month. And I'm working out some of the details still, so you want to make sure you're subscribed to my newsletter, and the link for that is down in the description box below. Make sure you're subscribed so that you can be notified on Tuesday of all the details of this awesome new class. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the card. So like I said, I'm using Friends Are Like Seashells. These can be found on page 27 of the new annual catalog. They debuted in the January through June mini catalog as a whole suite, and several items from that suite are retiring, including the DSP and some sticker sheets and things like that. But I'm very excited because the bundle pricing is carrying over, which means if you buy both the stamp set and the dies together, you can save 10% when you buy that. So, and this is it's incredible, and it's got some beautiful sentiments in here. And I really love the seashell look. And actually, I use this piece in this card. You'll see it later on the inside. I use this piece, which is supposed to be a filler for this shell, but I don't use it as a filler for that shell. So you'll have to see shortly what we do with that. But let's go ahead and get started. So here's the stamp set. We use a couple of the sentiments in here, the happy birthday, and then for the inside, I've got you are unique and completely amazing, and we also use some of the shells. Okay, so we're gonna start off with this awesome background because it's a little bit time consuming. And I, if you've been around before, you know I like to use scrap paper over my scrap paper. So I am gonna bring in this piece of vellum. And all of the measurements are going to be on my blog post, which will come out tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central Time. So you wanna make sure that you're following me on Facebook or Instagram, or just check my website at 8 a.m. Central Time for all the measurements. But this is vellum, and I know it's going to be kind of hard to see here, but hopefully you can see it enough. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in several Stampin' blends here. Now I've got dark balmy blue, light night of navy, and light misty moonlight. So I'm using 3 of our different blues, but they really blend together to make such a cool color. So what I'm going to do is open the brush tip end, and I'm using my lightest color first. It doesn't really matter, you know, which color you start with, but I like to work from lightest to darkest, and I'm just kind of scribbling on various parts of the vellum, okay? And then we'll go ahead and bring in the night of navy, and I'm not trying to overlap the colors too much. You don't really have to because they'll all kind of blend together, but you know, it's your background, your card. You can do whatever you want with it. All right, so now we'll take the misty moonlight here, and I'll fill in the rest with this misty moonlight. So super fun. This has been, you might maybe have seen some other projects made. I don't know what the actual name of it. I heard somebody call it polished stone. So that might be the name of this technique. I'm not really sure, but it's been going around, and now it's my turn to do it. So I've got 99% isopropyl alcohol here. Now I know that 91% also works. I got 99% because we had some in our garage. But 91% works. I have heard that 70% does not work for this technique, but I just spritzed a bunch of that onto my piece here, and you can kind of see those colors are starting to blend together a little bit. And as I pick it up, I'm kind of moving them around too. Another thing you can do, this is one of our Stampin' spritzers. So this one I marked that it was the alcohol because I don't want to put water in here in the future. I just want it to be my alcohol spritz or spritzer. Another thing you can do is you can uncap it and then use it to kind of drop a little bit of the alcohol right on there. And of course, I'm on a video, so it's not going to work. But another thing I like to do is kind of wait till it dries a little bit more, because these little splotches will show up a little bit better. But it's super, super cool technique there. For time's sake, and you can see it's kind of pooling in the middle there, which I can fix later. For time's sake, I already have one done. So this is all dry. It does take a little bit of time to dry, and I didn't want to make you wait on a live video. So it's pretty cool there. I love this technique. It's so fun. And I also did another one with pinks. That's a little sneak peek of the color challenge this week, because I did another one with pinks, and that'll be out on Tuesday as part of the challenge. So super fun there. So now we're going to play with some gilded leafing. And I have to admit, this card was the first time I played with this gilded leafing. It's kind of fun and very messy. If you're not careful, it can get a little bit messy. So I've got my Versamark ink pad here, and I'm just going to like do some random swipes so you can kind of see it there. I'm just going to swipe part of it around, and no rhyme or reason. You can do whatever you want here. I just wanted some weird spots for the gilded leafing. I didn't want it to look too uniform. So that was with my Versamark. Then what I'm going to do is bring in our heat and stick powder. And this is pretty cool also. Actually, I need to grab another piece of scrap paper. This one's a little bit messier, but it's all right. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour this out, and I didn't transfer this to another Tupperware container yet. I will be doing that, but you can see I dumped pretty much the entire thing out, and I don't need that much heat and stick powder. So then I'm going to go ahead and just dump it back into that paper, and you can see it all laying there. I'll set that to the side for just a second while I funnel this back into my container here. Here we go. And then we're going to heat it with the heat tool. And you have to be a little bit careful with the heat tool, because the way this heat and stick powder works is that you want it to heat to the point where it becomes sticky. You don't want it to completely melt in or anything like that. You just want it to be sticky. So let's go ahead and give that a try. And as per usual, I won't talk during this part just so you don't miss anything. Okay, so now it is all sticky, and you can kind of see it shine a little bit. That's how I know it's sticky. Now what I'm going to do, and this is the messy part, this gilded leafing really likes to fly. So hopefully I don't have to sneeze, because I will have a mess. So I'm trying to open this carefully because it just sticks to everything. But what I'm going to do is grab some of the leaves, and it's very lightweight, and I'm just going to smush it down over the top of the spots where that powder went. And oh my gosh, it's so light, you guys. It's so fun to work with, but it's a mess. You can see it just flies everywhere. So now I've got this sponge dauber, and this is my gilded leafing sponge dauber. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of rub in the leafing there. Just like this, which is pretty fun to do. I have another project that I'm working on for another tutorial bundle, and I'm planning to use some of this gilded leafing for it. So this is, I don't know, it's just really fun to play with. Okay, now I'll try to get as much of it off as possible. Ah! Did you see my mistake there? I gave it too much air. Whoops. But that's okay. How has your guys' weekend been so far? Mine has been pretty good. My family and I went out and got some ice cream today. We went on a Sunday drive and got some ice cream. And otherwise, it's been a kind of a lazy weekend, which has been really nice, especially after such a busy week. Okay, so you can see I still have a mess here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my little vacuum and see if I can clean some of this up. And I got this new silicone mat, and I don't think I like it because it just holds everything there. So that's okay. I'll clean it up later after we're done, but that got enough off. Alicia, you've had a great weekend. That's awesome. I love to hear that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about these seashells. So there's a giant die cut in the bundle, and it cuts out all of this. I cut off a little bit of the edge. Oh, Sherry, you had a boring weekend? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do you like boring weekends? I like them every once in a while. So I did a few things this weekend, but otherwise it's been kind of low-key, which is nice. My day job, I work at a nonprofit, and we have summer camps going on, and they started last week, so it has been crazy. Yeah, it's been nuts, but in a good way. Okay, so this cut out, right? And then we have this awesome Seashells 3D embossing folder, and it lines up with the dies. So what I did is I lined up the die cut, and I stuck it in like this. and got it all lined up, and then I ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and this is what I got, which is super, super awesome. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in my scissors, and we're just gonna snip away some of these like leaf pieces. What I want out of here is this big shell, this little one, and then this guy right here. So we're just gonna make some cuts and get these all cut out. While I do this, I will share with you guys. So we went to see my whole family. I have a niece who is, I think she's 14 still. She'll be 15 next month, and she is in town. She lives down in Nebraska, but she's in town for a few days. And so our whole family, my mom, dad, sister, brother-in-law, and then both of my nieces and my nephew, we went to go see a musical yesterday. We went to go see Shrek. And it was super fun, and my nephew is 3, and he did fall asleep during Act 2, but he made it all the way through Act 1, and he loved the donkey the best, which I think is so funny. And he kept saying that Shrek was mean, which if you're familiar with the show, Shrek is not happy. He's kind of an outcast, and nobody's really nice to him, and so he's just not a happy camper. And my nephew thought that he was just mean. And my 6-year-old niece said, oh, here, share, you like to have something to do. Oh yes, it is way too hot. It is way too hot. Hopefully you can find we get some relief from that soon. But my 6-year-old niece was telling him how all of the like roars that he did, like the ogre roars, I guess, I don't know what they're called other than roars. So that's what I'll stick with, I guess. She kept trying to say like, no, those are they're not real. It's a recording. And so it was really cute for her to try to explain that to her little brother, who doesn't love Donkey. Yeah, that's so true. Donkey is probably the best character. No offense to any of the other ones, but Donkey is probably the best. Okay, so I've got my Whisper White craft stamp pad here now, and what you do with this when you buy this is it comes uninked, and you get a refill to ink it yourself. I'm not really entirely sure why, but that's how it comes. So I'm putting these shells on here and just kind of putting some ink on them. You can drag it around or do whatever you want, but I think it makes it look a little bit more shiny like a seashell. So I like to do that on here. But yeah, the musical Shrek is actually a little, like, kind of long. It was 2.5 hours, and so that's why he fell asleep during Act 2, but it's okay. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so those are all inked up, and they look good. And so now we can just start assembling, which is super awesome. So these techniques are both actually pretty short, but they make it look so cool. So I'm using my seal adhesive on the back. Usually with vellum, you want to be careful because you can see the adhesive through it. And so you want to try to like aim your adhesive mainly where you're going to have something covering it. But I think with this technique on here, with both the gilded leafing and the Stampin' blends, I think that it blends, the adhesive blends in pretty well, so I'm not too worried about it. But I can tell you that my craft room stinks of alcohol. So just be forewarned about that. Maybe that's a good use for some face masks, is to spray this when you've got a mask on. Okay, so this is all on here, and you can see that it really just pops when it's put onto that basic white. It looks super, super good. Oh, your son doesn't have 2.5 hours of still and quiet in him. That's so funny. Alicia, I would say, let me check on this one. Oh, my other one is definitely not dry, and I just spilt a little, so I'm not going to bring it into the frame. So I would say maybe around 20 minutes or so. You can use your heat tool to dry it. Just be careful as you do it. Just kind of watch it to make sure nothing burns or it sloshes all over the place. But yeah, you can definitely use your heat tool if you're trying to hurry it along. But since I already had one made, I didn't need to do that. But yeah, it's I think that's funny though, Cher, that your son does not have 2.5 hours. Neither does my nephew. So I was surprised he made it all the way through Act 1, which was about an hour and a half. Yeah, he made it through there. He got some Skittles at intermission and then he was done. So even with the sugar, he couldn't make it. But all right, so I'm just burnishing this with my bone folder, and we've got the crumb cake cardstock or card base there. And then these are still a little bit wet because I kind of globbed on some of that ink there. So I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of basic white here, and then we're going to go ahead and do the sentiment. And I wanted a little bit of a pop of color, so I went with our new In Color Polished Pink, which is a very beautiful color. I think it's one of my favorites. And I'm just stamping that right onto this scrap. And then we will continue assembling. And if these don't dry in time, we'll go ahead and do the inside of the card because they might not dry too quick. And then I'm not going to put this sentiment down until we put those seashells on there, just so I can make sure everything gets lined up right. So let's see how these are doing. Yeah, do you see that? It's still a little bit shiny. He's not quite ready. You like the random gold? Thanks, Cher. I do too. I think it's just kind of cool. And then there's some more flecks on here that I think some of that heat and stick powder stayed on here. Like I didn't get it all off. And so there's some flecks on there too, which look really pretty. Okay, so let's do the inside of the card while we wait for everything else. So this is my sample, and I will open it up so you can see what it'll look like. So we are going to use the polished ink again. And I've got this sentiment here that says, "You are unique and completely amazing." And come on, I mean, is that not the greatest sentiment of all time? So we will stamp that right in the middle, and then we are done with polished pink. And then I've got my crumb cake ink, and I have these two shells, the starfish and the sand dollar. And then this piece, which I told you is supposed to be the filler of that one seashell. But I instead used it kind of as a filler here. And I think it would be great if you just wanted to make like a sand look. It would be awesome to just like stamp along the whole bottom. But I'm going to ink up the crumb cake, or the sand dollar and crumb cake, and then we'll do the starfish. And we'll place them kind of like this. And then what I'm going to do with this filler piece is I'm actually going to stamp it off before I stick it down. And that just makes it so it has a little bit of a lighter color. So we'll go ahead and just kind of cover both of those just like that, which I think looks just kind of cool. I like how it's not completely filled, that it's a little bit more, you know, out of, what is the word I'm looking for? That's the true question. What am I trying to say? I like that it doesn't completely fill it. It's a little bit off kilter there. So we'll go ahead and put some seal adhesive on this piece and get it on the inside of the card. And then we'll put the seashells on and the sentiment, and then we'll be done. So there we go. Super cute. I am in need of birthday cards because I have had a lot of birthday celebrations lately. So I am always happy to make some birthday cards. And I don't know why I put the cap on that because I need it. All right, so I'm just running some more seal on here. You could use dimensionals if you wanted to. And we'll just pop this guy right here. And then I will spin this. And I'm probably going to get some white ink on my fingers, but that's okay. Because if you don't have messy fingers, were you really crafting? Look at that. I got white on my fingers already. All right, and then we'll do this cute little shell here. And there were a couple of shells that I didn't cut out, so you could use those too. Then we'll go ahead and just run some seal on the back of this, and I'm going to tuck it under this shell. Where do I want to put it? Maybe like here, because I want the edge of it to not be showing, if that makes sense. So it all looks good. So there we go. Isn't that cute? And so shiny. So yeah, that's our card today. So I hope you enjoyed that technique. I hope you give it a try. And I hope if you do give it a try, share it with me. I want to see how it goes. So you can see that, you know, between these two, I use the same colors, but this one is a little bit darker because of where I placed the marker. So how it dries is just drastically different, and it looks so cool. So But thank you so much for watching today. Like I said, please share a picture with me if you use this fun technique. And if you figure out what the name of it is, it might be polished stone. I'll have to do some research. But if you find a name that you think you'd call this, let me know, because I don't really know what it's called. Thank you so much, you guys, for the kind comments on the cards. And thank you so much for watching. So go ahead, please give this video a like or a thumbs up. That really helps me out on YouTube. And then if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, make sure you do that so you don't miss out on any video tutorials or live videos. And I will be back next week with an awesome card. But in the meantime, I've got a pre-recorded video coming out for you later this week. So I will see you next time. Bye for now.